Do you like cruising? Or better yet, playing roulette to win a free cruise? Let's look at 2520 version 2. So we're going to buy in for $300. Remember, CPAS card, they'll scan it, they'll give it back to you. You put it away. All right, so we're going to buy in for $300 with red chips, which are $5 chips. And if you saw my previous video of the 2520, I'll put a link to it right here. So when you get through watching this one, you can go back and watch that one. All right, so 2520, you take $25, which is 5 chips, and 20, which is 4 chips. 5 chips, 1 to 18, 4 chips on the third 12. So with 2520, we would go for ever how many hits it would take to get 3 chips, and then we would increase 2 to 1. Then we'd get 3 again, 2 to 1, increase again, 2 to 1, until it got to 7 chips and 11 chips. Okay, and then if that hit, then we'd bring it down. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to run it out to where we're going to raise it after we win 3 chips. Okay, and then once we get there, we're going to leave it there. We're going to let it ride. That gets our average from 45, which is our starting average. It's going to increase it to $60 at that point. So based on my math and what I've figured out on previous cruises, that'll be close to 60 points every 10 spins. Okay, so we're going to go 20 spins. We're going to run it out 2520 version 2. So let's get our first spin going here. So with the first hit right here, if we hit 1 to 18, that is a 1 chip profit. If it hits anywhere in this third dozen, that is a 3 chip profit. And when that happens, we're going to increase 2 to 1. Okay. All right. So 34. All right. So that is a 3 chip profit. So to show you that what that is, so there it is right there. Here's 3 chips. Okay. So now we're going to take it back. 25 there, 20 there, and we're going to increase 1 here, 2 here. Okay, now we're set. So our average just increased from $45 to $60 using $15 of the casino money. Okay, now we're just going to let that ride. Now we're on spin 2. We're going to see how this goes. 20 spins. It's not going to be a huge profit builder, but it should sustain for, long term. But we can only, spin it out, see how it does, okay? So 13. All right, so that is a 2 chip profit right there. So we're going to put everything back like it was. There's our 2 chip profit. We're going to pull it back to the rack. Now I'm going to keep it separated because I want to try to recoup the $45 I have at play. Yeah, I played this out on the last Sunday night spins. So you can go back and watch that video. All right, 13 again. So again, 2 chip profit. Okay, we'll take the 2 chips back to our rack. Now we're setting it back just like we had it. And we're just going to let this ride. We've got $60 out at risk right now. And every win is either a $10 or a $15 win. Okay, 12. Again, that's 2 chip profit. Bring it back to our rack. All right, let me keep these here separated so we can keep up with how many wins we have. So with a $300 buy-in at $45, you've got at least 6 tries to see if this system works out for you. Okay. All right, 21. All right, so that's the bad numbers. Okay, so set up this way. This double street here, these are all bad numbers. 0, double 0 as well. Okay, so you have 8 numbers that are exposed on this strategy. Okay. All right, so we lost. It looks like we lost a lot, but we really brought $30 back to the rack. So we actually only lost $15 for that those few spins there. All right, and that was only 5 spins. So now we're going to reset. There's 25 and 20. Okay. Okay, 1. All right, right here, that's only a 1 chip profit. So we're just going to bring that back to our rack right there. And what I'm looking for is if I can get 3 chips, so it may take 3 wins in a row down here to get the 3 chips that we're looking for. All right, 1 again. Again, that is a 1 chip profit. And you could leave it at this level the entire time if you wanted to, because you're going to get $5 there. You'll get $15 over there. All right, so 28. All right, so that is a 3 chip profit. All right, so there's that. Now, that's 25.20. Now we're going to go up 2 and 1. Okay, 32. All right, so that should be a 3 chip profit. Okay, so there's the 3 chip profit right there. We're bringing those 3 back to our rack. Okay. And now, our average is at $60. So if the pit boss comes by and they start, reviewing it, they'll have you at $60 average. Even though $15 of that is actually their money. All right, 26. All right, that is a 3 chip profit. We're gonna bring those 3 chips back to our rack. Let's keep them separated here. All right, so that was 10 spins. So here is spin 11. We'll put that right there. All right, 16. All right, that should be a 2 chip profit. So there's 2 chips. Back to our rack. So we have 35 here, 25 here. Okay, 27. That is a 3 chip profit. All right, we're on spin number 13. Okay, 35. That is a 3 chip profit. Bring it back to our rack. Okay, 34. That is a 3-chip profit. All right, we're on spin number 15 at a $60 average. And we've been at $60 for probably at least 12 or 13 of these spins, give or take. All right, 8. All right, that is a 2-chip profit. So there's our 2 chips. Bring those back to our rack. 35.20. I mean 35.25. All right, spin number 16. All right, 14. There's a 2-chip profit. Bring it back to our rack. All right, 17. That is a 2-chip profit. Bring those back to our rack. All right, 18. That is a 2-chip profit. All right, we're on spin number 19. It looks like we're going to survive. Okay, 18 again. And that is a 2-chip profit. Starting to run out of room here. All right, 19. Okay, so finally, that was a loss. All right, so there we go. So let's see. So this is 15. Okay, so there's our original buy-in was $45 for that cycle. So let's see what our profit was right there on that particular run. Okay, so that was a $100 profit over that cycle there. All right, so now that was 20 spins. Buy-in was $300, $5 chips. Average started out at $45. We increased it to $60 and we let it ride. And our profit is $75, $80, $85. So it's an $85 profit. I'm going to say they would have given us a $60 average. That would be 120 points over 20 spins. Now, I can't say this is typical. If it hits that double streak, you know, that's just how it goes. I mean, every strategy has its weakness. That double streak is definitely the weakness. 0, double 0 definitely is the weakness on it as well. All right, so let's do this. It went really well that time. So let's spin it again. We're going to go 20 spins again and see how it goes. So here's our $300 buy-in. All right. Let's just keep that right there because hopefully we'll need it, right? All right, so here we go. So now we've walked away. We've come back. We bought in again. Remember, cash on the table. They take your CPass, scan it, give it back to you. And then we're going to go 20 spins again. We're not going to change anything about the strategy. All right, this is spin 1. Have you got a strategy you would like me to try out? Send it to me roulettecruisin@gmail.com. 30 spins. Buy-in has to be between $200 to $400. Send me all the rules, what to do when you win, what to do when you lose, and when to walk away. Can't wait to see them. Here's 25, 20. Now the last session went really well. Okay, so we were into profit. All right, 29. That's a perfect spot for that to hit because that's our first spin with it set up at the 45. That is a 3-chip profit. So now we're going to reset back 25, 20, but we're going to increase 1 here and 2 there. All right, so our average just went from 45 to 60. Now we're on spin 2. Let's see. We're going to go ahead and put our $85 profit right there. Okay. All right, 3. All right, so that should be a 2-chip profit. Bring those back to our rack. Let's see, so that's 75, 80. All right, there's 85 right there. That was our profit from the first session. All right, 17. All right, that is a 2-chip profit. All right, 19. All right, that's a loss. All right, but with that loss, we had $45 we started with. We brought $20 back. So we lost $25. Okay, so there's 20 there and 25. So we're just restarting. Okay, 18. That is a 1-chip profit. Bring it back to our rack. All right, 12. That is a 1-chip profit. Bring it back to our rack. Okay, 16. That's another 1-chip profit. So now we've collected 3 chips. So we're going to go 1 chip over here, 2 chips here. So now we're at 35, 25. And this is spin number 8. And our average is $60 right now. All right, 10. All right, that is a $10 profit. Bring it back to our rack. All right, spin number 9. All right, 8. That is a $10 profit. Okay, spin number 10. Okay, 29. That is a 3-chip profit. Bring those 3 chips back to our rack. and set it back up, 35, 25. All right, so that was spin number 10. So let's see. Here we go, spin number 11. Okay, 18. And again, that's a $10 profit or 2-chip profit. Spin number 12. All right, 7. That is a 2-chip profit. Okay, 13. That's another 2-chip profit. All right, we're on spin number 14. All right, 2. It almost landed in that 0. All right, so here we go. So that is a 2-chip profit. Okay, 23. All right, so we hit on that double streak. All right, lost all that. So let's see. So there's 20, 25. And then, so that profit over that one was $30 profit. So here we go. 20, 25. Spin number 16, 2520, version 2. All right, 1. That is a 1-chip profit. Bring it back to your rack. Okay, 12. That is a 1-chip profit. Bring it back to our rack. Spin number 18. Okay, 27. That is a 3-chip profit. Okay, increasing now, 1 and 2. Now we're at 35.25 again, $60 average. Spin number 19. All right, 13. That is a 2-chip profit. Bring it back to our rack. All right, we're on spin number 20. And double 0. It had to get us eventually, right? Okay. So over that session of 20 spins, our average would have been $60 through at least 17 or 18 of those spins. So we're going to say a $60 average, 60 points, 120 points again. So in those 40 spins over that session, I would expect that you would have gotten anywhere between 200 to 240 points over that session. So here's 200, 25, 50, 75, 80. So $280. So let's go. So there's 300 right there. So over those 2 sessions, that's a profit of $65. Okay. So we're a profit of $65 over 40 spins. We should have gotten 240 points, give or take, over that session. Now, I can't say this is typical. I mean, if it gets on a bad run of these 6 numbers here, of course, it's going to go south on you. But, you know, in order for a strategy to work, you've got to leave some stuff exposed. All right. So, so that was the 25-20 version 2. Like I showed you, you get those first wins, and whenever you get 3 chips profit, increase 2 to 1. Now you can set it up the other way if you would like. So you can go 20 here and 25 there, and the only thing it changes is your double street. So set up this way, your double street here are all your bad numbers. If you switch it around, this is your bad numbers, and 0, double 0 is always your bad because of the way this strategy runs. Okay, so but you know I think it's a very usable strategy. You know, you've got $45 at risk, right? And you've got 8 numbers exposed, so you've got a real good chance of lasting a little while at the table. You know, it's just something I've come up with, just an idea. I would like to use my profits to kind of help my average a little bit. That's kind of what this strategy is doing. So you start out at 45, you increase to 60. You're using $15 of their money to increase your average. So anyway, y'all give it a try and see how it does for you. I'm going to try it. I've got a cruise coming up next week, so I think I'm going to run this strategy on the cruise and just see how it does. You know, probably I not try to do it with $2 chips, and probably with the $2 chips, I would probably have to go, you know, 5 chips, which would be $10, and I'll probably go ahead and go to the 7 chips over here. So because you start out with 5 chips and 4 chips, you increase the 1 and the 2, so then you would go 5 to 7. Okay, so on the cruise, I might try it with just $2 chips. So $10 here, and it would be $14. So that would be a $24 average. You know, it's not going to be a very high average, but at least it's to test the strategy a little bit where you know, it won't hurt the bankroll too bad. And maybe even after 1 win or something, maybe increase it to 9 and 6. All right, it's going to change some things a little bit, but not a lot. But anyway, so that's the 25-20 version 2. And if you would, make sure to hit like and subscribe to 35-1 Roulette Cruising. And until next time, happy cruising. See y'all.